In deep space, even silence has a pattern. This is a calm sci-fi bedtime story about a lone pilot and the universe trying to speak to him. This is Resonance, in the quiet cradle of the cosmos, where time stretches thin and stars speak only in light. A lone vessel drifts, the Aetheris, slender, silver, and silent, designed not for war, nor for rescue. It is a ship built for watching, for listening to the deep breath of the universe. And at its helm sits Commander Eli Monroe. Years have passed since Earth last touched his voice. He moves like a shadow through the metal corridors, steady, precise. His life is ritual. Wake, observe, log, drift. The ship's systems hum with obedient grace, never too loud, never too quiet. Outside, the stars scatter like ash over an endless canvas. Some burn cold and ancient, others shimmer like newborn thoughts. Nebulas swirl in distant blues and golds, too vast to name. The silence between them is beautiful, and lately, unsettling. Eli begins to sense a rhythm in that silence, a subtle echo in his bones. A moment, too precise, repeated. A drifting comet that looks familiar, a signal tone that feels rehearsed. He brushes it off. The mind can play tricks, especially in the void. But something lingers. He walks the observation deck, late into the sleep cycle, watches the spiral arms of galaxies move with agonizing patience. Each flicker of light feels known, as though his eyes have seen it before. Not in dreams, not in data, but in memory. He doesn't speak. There is no one to speak to. Yet, the silence replies. And for the first time in the mission, he wonders if space is truly empty, or if something, somewhere, is beginning to stir. The days blend together, measured only by the slow turn of distant planets and the soft blink of navigation lights. Eli continues his routines, system checks, flight logs, calibration reports. Yet beneath the calm, a quiet unease takes root. He begins to notice the patterns. A beacon alert that triggers at the same exact timestamp. Not once, but twice. A sensor echo that mirrors yesterday's readings too perfectly. A star field that matches a scan he swears he logged weeks ago. Though it appears nowhere in the archive, it feels like he's walking familiar ground in unfamiliar shoes. Each hallway of the ship feels 1 inch too short. Each corner, a half second ahead of expectation. Then come the vibrations. Soft at first, barely there. A low tremor that passes through the deck plating. Not mechanical, not structural. It's as though the ship is responding, breathing. He stands in the command module late into cycle. The universe stretches out before him in all directions. But even in the endless night, something feels close. The stars outside flicker in, a strange rhythm. Not random, not chaotic, almost intentional. He records the pulse pattern, overlays it against system logs. A resonance. A kind of frequency that matches the tremors in the hull. Not caused by the ship, but carried through it, as though reality itself is vibrating, and the Aetheris is merely its instrument. He doesn't speak. There is no one to speak to. But as the lights dim for rest cycle, he senses something more deeply than thought. The void is not still. It is playing something back to him. And somewhere deep in his chest, Eli begins to remember music he never learned. Sleep becomes unreliable. When Eli rests, he drifts into dreams that feel like memories from a life he never lived. Visions of shattered moons tumbling in slow motion. Oceans suspended mid-tide, frozen in time. Versions of the Aetheris, fractured, abandoned, aflame, scattered across starscapes, unfamiliar yet deeply known. And always, a presence. It never speaks. It never shows itself. But it watches, waiting behind the veil of thought, humming just beneath hearing. Its presence reverberates, layered like a cord stretched through time. He wakes with his heart quiet, not racing, as if the fear had already passed long ago. Each time remnants of the dream linger. Patterns burned faintly onto the glass of the display. Navigation paths drawn by unseen hands. Sensor arrays tilted toward black pockets of space that draw the eye without reason. He revisits the ship's logs, system histories, flight archives. There are errors. Not technical, personal. A maintenance record signed with his own credentials, but dated months before he ran the check. A sensor scan saved twice with identical timestamps. One of them in a folder he doesn't remember creating. The biometric data is his, down to the cellular ID. Someone has been here. Someone with his hands, his breath, his memory. The Aetheris groans quietly as it passes through a field of faint cosmic dust, like wind over an ancient bell. He watches the dust swirl against the glass, and feels as though he's seen it swirl exactly this way, in a loop that has played too many times. The stars are no longer guides. They are mirrors, reflections of something broken, or trying not to be. He closes his eyes and the resonance hums again. This time it almost feels like a warning. Time becomes abstract. Days slip through Eli's fingers like vapor. The systems still function, but he no longer trusts their numbers. The logs show continuity, but he knows what continuity feels like. And this is not it. The tremors in the ship grow stronger. They no longer come and go. They stay. A low, constant hum beneath the floor, vibrating softly through the hull, through his boots, into his spine. Then the stars begin to pulse. Slow, synchronized, a luminous heartbeat across a dozen constellations. Eli adjusts the external array, isolates wavelengths. What he finds is impossible. A pattern. The pulses aren't light alone. They're layered with low-frequency data, embedded harmonics that echo through gravitational fields. He overlays them with the ship's logs from the past 3 months. The rhythm matches the anomalies perfectly. A kind of signal Not meant to be heard, meant to be felt. He maps it backward and forward. The pattern doesn't just explain the errors, it predicts them. Sensor misfires, ghost echoes, repeating coordinates, all part of the wave. And the wave is growing. It's not a malfunction, it's a memory. The resonance isn't random. It's a cycle. One the ship, or maybe Eli himself, has lived before. Each iteration leaving behind pieces, echoes, signs buried in the code, in the stars, in his own hands. All warnings, all failures. He stands on the bridge, motionless, as the universe pulses around him. The air hums with unseen music. The ship responds like a tuning fork, struck against the edge of existence. He's close. Closer than he's ever been. He, can feel it. The edge of the pattern. The moment where all previous versions turned back, or ended. The threshold is near. One more wrong step, and everything begins again. The pulse stops, not suddenly, but like a wave retreating, slowly drawing back into the sea it came from. The hum within the ship fades, the vibration still. For the first time in weeks, the silence returns. But Eli knows now. The silence is not peace. It is waiting. He stares at the course map. Dozens of plotted paths, all familiar, all leading into collapse. The data confirms it. Each choice, each trajectory, ends the same. The resonance has been trying to show him, not to stop the loop, but to break from it. And so, Eli does something the other versions of him never did. He erases the chart, deletes every path, every destination, every piece of planned logic, until the display is blank, a window into nothing. Then, with hands steady and breath low, he sets a course into the unknown. A trajectory angled away from every star, every route, every historical imprint, into dark, into silence. And something changes as the ship begins to turn. Space itself shifts. Stars that pulsed in warning now flicker in relief. The hull no longer vibrates. Instead, it exhales, as though the Aetheris is finally free. Beyond the known boundary, a faint glow waits. Not a star, not a planet, a tear in the black, a shimmer where nothing should be. Eli guides the ship forward, feeling, not thinking, for the first time in a long time. And just before the Aetheris crosses the veil, he looks once more into the dark behind him. It is quiet, but it no longer feels empty. The resonance is gone. Or perhaps it has been heard.